A book is simply just a well pieced together set of words, pages upon pages of ideas, values, and entertainment for which those who endure it can extract their own kind of values from it. However, a book can be more than just a good story. Good books can carry certain attributes of morals, themes, and an overall message of importance to apply to one's life. An Indigenous Canadian published author, Thomas King, in recent years has published an interesting story in 2021, Indians on Vacation. With the term Indians being used in the title, it is reasonable to wonder why he would do that when he himself is Indigenous. While the term is outdated, King had purposely chosen this word to reclaim it, as he himself had experienced the genocide of residential schools, so he is challenging the historical inaccuracy of the derogatory term. The book itself contains several teachings within it, and could have been a reflection on his own life. As seen in an interview with himself and Donald Butterall for Cloud Lake Literary, a Canadian literary arts magazine, he makes frequent mention of things that parallel the narration of the story. After being asked about his ambition for writing, he replied, "My partner Helen and I have been doing quite a bit of travel, in spite of my best efforts." Like Bird, he tried to prevent these events from occurring, showing their similarity as a person to connection of the story. Later on, when he asked what challenged him about his writing, he replied it was his memory for the accuracy of depiction. Quote, "Normally when I write a novel, I create everything and so I'm in control of that world. With Indians on Vacation, there is the expectation that if I talked about Prague, that I talked about Prague in an accurate way, or Budapest, or any other places Mimi and Bird go to. This showcases his dedication to authenticity and his demand for high expectations from himself. He normally creates stories from his imagination, but this is a real depiction of an actual secular place. He wants the audience to take something away from this story, and is why his story carries detailed messages for people to learn from in life. Firstly, an important message that King would like us to learn for our own life is understanding the importance of communication in a relationship. As portrayed within his novel, the complex relationship between Mimi and Bird is displayed for the reader. The proactive wife and the husband who wants to do nothing. One of the first incidents is them at a restaurant with one another, of which they find difficult to communicate with each other, and they resort to another form of passing time, reading. This is why each of the characters will later on in the story experience hardships within the relationship and suffer from constant disagreement. They cannot decide factors of where to live, where to travel, and how to enjoy their free time. The author, Thomas King, is attempting to showcase the importance of communication amongst people in order to develop a healthy and effective manner of conduct for handling people in one's life. This holds relevance for the adaptation of how people apply these lessons onto their own life. Secondly, another important message that King would like the audience to take away from his story is the cultural significance of importance for expression in society. When Mimi was attempting to handle the issue of Bird's mental health, she in turn offers him a choice. He could have gone to therapy or adopted an animal for a higher level of joy in his life. He chooses the dog, but is unable to stop thinking about the experience of the residential schools every time he sees the cage of the animal. He believes that people have treated their pets better in the way in which that people were treated in the residential schools. King is writing from the perspective of knowing the struggles people had endured from the residential schools and emphasizes the damage it had upon people. King focuses on this issue as it highlights the necessity for equal treatment in life. Lastly, the final big theme of the book for people to apply to their own life is the balance of personal battles. In the text, this concept is displayed through the demons of which Bird must battle both physically and mentally. For him to grab a handle of them in his life, he must create a character for each of his struggles. He begins to humanize them by giving them names and characteristics. The sense of personification is the essence of his struggles for being a strong individual, confident person in life. Bird begins to blame the environment around him, his physical disabilities, mental disabilities, and lack of social awareness. King correlates this theme of the book to people's sense of insecurity for their inability to grasp the understanding of having personal demons. Everyone has certain challenges in their life and must create their own kind of technique for overcoming these obstacles. King showcases the way for which people overcome obstacles and acknowledges the idea of having certain demons to overcome in life as being normal. He wants people to work through their problems rather than assign blame to others. Final note, I wanted to mention the reason the book did not have a clear objective in terms of plot. Going back to the interview mentioned earlier, He missed not really knowing what he is doing. Quote, I didn't have an idea what I was going to do or where I was going to go. Unquote. This lack of plot, however, does not take away from its capture and discussion of great ideas.